back. I'm back with another episode of the Bench Mob ENT podcast. You got the Fantastic Four is on the 18. We are on tonight. We are back now. Hey, I know y'all missed us last week. Real life stuff been happening, but tough times don't last. Tough people do. So we back at it right here. We got a jam-packed episode for y'all tonight. But fellas, how y'all doing?
Doing good.
Doing good, bro. Doing good. Ready to get going. Getting close to the draft.
Getting closer to the draft. Playoff time is around the corner for the NBA. It's going to be a lot that we have to talk about for these next couple of weeks. Trust and believe you're going to love this content. On tonight's episode, we talking Diggs trade. We talking the AC East. We talking about NBA MVP award, rookie of the year, all those type of different things. We're going to talk about Coach Cal too. We're going to talk about there's a lot that's on the docket today that y'all going to like. And of course, y'all liked it last episode. We got to talk about Cole apologizing. Yeah, we're going to talk about it we're going to talk about it tonight. Starting off though, Stefon Diggs. It's been a couple years where he ain't been happy, and it's been talked about he's going to be with his brother, this, that, and the third. He finally was traded, the four-time Pro Bowler, traded for a 2025 second-round pick, 2024 sixth-rounder, and a 2025 fifth-round pick. Diggs will wear number 1, and he will join Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Noah Brown, Robert Woods, Dalton Schultz, and running back Joe Mixon. Are the Texans contenders or pretenders?
I don't know how you can say they're not contenders. They were contenders last year. They were way ahead of where they were supposed to be in terms of timeline. CJ Stroud shows that he's that dude. He is an MVP candidate coming into this year. And with the new additions that he has in Joe Mixon, right, having a solid run game, not that they didn't last year, but getting a guy like Stefon Diggs, who you're going to have to double team at times. Tank Dell is a proven commodity. Yes, he's coming off of ACL surgery. But having guys like Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, who shined last year, even Noah Brown at times, who played exceptionally well on the outside, CJ Stroud has options to get his playmakers the ball, and it doesn't go through one player. And I think that's the exciting thing, especially for a young quarterback like that. CJ Stroud has the opportunity to really spread that ball around and make his life a hell of a lot easier as he looks to, get a playoff win and go make a deep playoff run.
I totally agree. I think he makes them better. I think he definitively makes that team a lot better immediately upon getting there. I think the big interesting thing about, and I know you asked about, whether or not he makes them obviously a contender. They are, right? I think they had a run last year. They won a playoff game. I think that he gives them an opportunity to win multiple playoff games if he can stay healthy. And so I think it's a lot. Playing with CJ Stroud, who's you'd argue is a bit more accurate than Josh Allen. I think he has a really good chance to be unlocked in that offense and go crazy. But I mean, for me, I guess I kind of wonder about the why behind his situation in Buffalo and how he ended up getting moved eventually, right? I know he wasn't happy. I know there were reasons for him not to be happy there. I also know that they may have had a problem with the way that he expressed his unhappiness in Buffalo. I think that ultimately is the reason why he's not there anymore and why they took on all this dead cap to get rid of him and even added assets to get rid of him too, right? Which is crazy, which is crazy. So it says a lot. And so I just wonder, and I don't think it'll be a problem there. I think that the Texans have a good thing going, but if he's not getting the ball enough to his liking early on in the process or in the year, it's how long before he explodes in the sideline and all that stuff, right? And I'm not trying to paint him out to be some guy who's unstable, right? I'm sure he had his reason to be frustrated. Josh Allen, there were ups and downs. Josh Allen's play was up and down at times, and they should have been better than they were. They should have accomplished more than they did. But I just have my concerns about the sustainability of the situation long term, and also, I mean, I get the sense that Stefon Diggs does too, because Stefon Diggs, again, got his contract altered, and now he's going to be a free agent after 1 year. So, I mean, he may feel the same way on low, right? And it may not be it's not a slight to CJ Stroud. It's just he wants to win really badly at this point in his career, clearly. But I hope he can go about doing it in a way that isn't toxic, and he can put that stuff to bed, because when a team pays to get rid of you that much, that's a red flag. That's a red flag. There's no other way I can look at it. It is. No matter what angle we look at it from, When you get paid to say, hey, get up out of here. You're good. We're done. That's wild. That's wild. And I know him and Josh Allen had their backs and back and forths. But that's a little bit of it would make me tentative as a Texan fan.
And all that.
Hey, Miles.
Oh, my bad. No, I was gonna say, did we hear about any of this when he was in Minnesota? About him being like a toxic teammate and all that stuff? I mean, I can't remember hearing any of that, but
Well, I mean, when you're in Minnesota, when you were getting started, he was getting started. So when you're getting started and you haven't reached superstardom yet, you didn't get the big contract yet, you're gonna act right. That's you're not empowered. You're not emboldened to act the way you want to act. Money just accentuates who you are. When you get paid, it just brings out who you are. The worst in you will show, the good in you will show. Whoever you are is going to come to the surface. And so he got paid, and we saw some stuff. We saw some stuff in Buffalo. We saw it publicly. We heard about it behind the scenes in the locker room. Him and Josh Allen got into it after a game. After the first Jets game of the year, the first game of the year, they lost. Him and Josh Allen got into it, right? And Josh Allen said it's one effing game, right? Like, get off my back, that situation. So, hey, they've had their backs and forths, right? We've even seen on Twitter, right? So I just, it's hard to go. It's hard to go off of what you saw when he was in Minnesota because he wasn't Stefon Diggs. His name wasn't a household name at that point.
Yeah, it was really that catch against the Saints, right? That propelled him to where he is now in terms of the notoriety that he gets.
I just think it's misconstrued though, just because I think it's a guy who wants to win. Like we saw how much that catch affected him when he made that catch for Minnesota against the Saints. Like he was emotional. Like this is a guy who, even in college, he was an emotional guy who wanted to win. Comes to Buffalo, he wants to win. Like I think that's the main point that we saw with that Buffalo incident that they're talking about. That it's like it's one game, but like yeah, it's one game, but it's trying to build that foundation for the rest of the year. Like there's no complacency. Like one game could make the difference between winning the division or being a wild card or even missing the playoffs. So I feel like he was trying to hold people accountable more so than being a deterrent to what the team's focus was, which is winning a Super Bowl. So I think he caught a lot of flack. Same with A.J. Brown. I mean, he's another guy who catches flack for being an emotional guy, but I think it's these guys want to win. Like the numbers are going to be there if you're playing well. This year they went down a little bit, and I mean I think Josh Allen, his numbers were down a little bit too. I mean, sure he came on towards the end, and that was after they got rid of Ken Dorsey, but a lot can be said for a guy who just wants to win.
Yeah, but it's one thing to be emotional, right? But it's also another thing to we don't know what was going on behind closed doors in terms of how he was handling situations and everything that we were hearing, whether it be from, reporters tweeting about things in press conferences, whatever the case is that there was a lot of bad blood between Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs. And it seemed like in the beginning of the season, because this kid, you got to remember, this spilled over from the previous year ahead of last year's season. They came into training camp with that bad blood, and people were talking about it. How are they gonna, be this year? And they said they squashed it, but early on when things weren't going right, you started hearing about that stuff again. And who knows how Stefon Diggs was handling it behind closed doors, and he could have very well been handling it poorly. So who are we to say if it was misconstrued or if it's actually facts? Because to Greg's point, something had to be going on for them to be willing to take this dead cap hit and get that man out of there. That's not that as talented as he is, you try to make it work. And if you look at the Bills roster now, it's like, damn, they're really down bad now due to parting ways with, Gabe Davis and free agency, Stefon Diggs, shipping him out. But that has to be from something, right? You don't just get rid of a talented player like that and leave your quote-unquote star quarterback with no one to throw the ball to.
Well, it was like a reset. I mean, I think they got rid of –
They shouldn't be in reset mode.
Why not? They had no money. They're out of money. Like, they put all this money into this team, and what did it get them? They made it to a divisional game? before they were knocked out by the Chiefs?
This wasn't a money move, though. They didn't let go of Stefon Diggs because they was tight in the pockets and they couldn't afford it. They let go of him because he was a problem in the locker room for them. That's what they felt like. They felt like he was a cancer in the locker room. They clearly did. You don't do that. You don't do that if you don't feel that way. I'm just sorry. You just don't. Like, he's too talented to let him walk for, like, what? Like, it's crazy. It's insane. And the way I look at Stefon Diggs' behavior is I coach youth basketball. If someone on my team or the youth basketball player was acting that way, I'd feel some kind of way. Like, I wouldn't allow it. I wouldn't allow it. I know it's different in the pros. Yes, it's different. But, like, I don't know. I don't see many wide receivers acting like that. I saw frustration with Odell in New York. I saw that. It's not like it hasn't happened. I've seen Antonio Brown, which is a different level. It's not the same. You can't compare it. But like at some point, it gets a tad bit ridiculous. At least publicly, anyways. You're never going to win that battle going up against your quarterback. And you're never going to win it. You're never going to be the good guy. It's just never going to be the case if you're Stefon Diggs. But I thought he could have handled himself better. I thought he could have handled it better. I thought so. I thought so, right? I think there's a better way to handle it. Everyone can see that Josh Allen was struggling. I don't think you need to put to show him up. You didn't need to. We all see it. We know he's inconsistent. We know he becomes an idiot and starts throwing interceptions he shouldn't throw. We know that. We all watch it. We are very aware of Josh Allen's the deficiencies. We don't need you to bring more attention to it, and you probably shouldn't do that. But he wanted out of there, and so it may have been strategic. That because he knows he's never going to win that battle in the front office. He knows that, and so I'll give him that grace. But you wouldn't want your kid acting like that if they were an athlete, or you wouldn't let them act like that in Little League. You wouldn't let them act like that in high school ball, college. No, I'm saying you wouldn't allow it. At least I don't think people would.
I mean, he had his brother tweeting. He had his brother tweeting mid-season.
Yeah,
get my brother out of there. Come on,
man.
Like you put your brother in your place if that's somewhere that you really want to be, and you don't want to create any more problems. But he co-signed that. He co-signed that.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there. He don't want to be there.
To your point, the Bills wide receiver room now, because they did lose Gabe Davis, they have currently right now it's Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakur, Justin Shorter, and Matt Collins. That's their current Matt Collins. That's their current wide receiver room. Hey, before we even go on, because we gotta talk about the AFC East, because this trade is a direct effect to the AFC East and who's gonna win it. But right now, Stefon Diggs is a top wide receiver in the league?
That's not an easy question to answer.
8.
He's top 10.
Bottom of the 10 though. Bottom of the 10 of that 10 because okay, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. I'd probably take AJ Brown over him right now. I'd probably take Devontae Smith over him right now over in with the Eagles. Who else?
Devontae Adams.
Let's continue. Devontae Adams. Yeah, okay. Yep.
That's the first Devontae I thought you was about to say.
Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill. We're 7 deep already. We're 7 deep. Who else?
Would you take Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Yes. I'm taking him. Yeah, I am over him. Yes, I am. So
what
we're
about
now
Mike Evans?
Yes, Mike Evans. Absolutely.
Last year production was crazy. Yeah, I mean,
1,000-yard seasons, multiple years. Come on.
Yeah, he's never not had 1,000-yard season.
Not.
Yeah. So okay, right.
So we're at 10.
So he's at 10. Is he at 10? No, CeeDee Lamb 10. He's not even top 10.
CeeDee Lamb.
That's
CeeDee Lamb.
Amari
Cooper is amazing, but I'd probably go Stefon Diggs over him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's at 11. If we're being he's at 11. All those guys are better than him.
You putting Keenan Allen above him? A healthy Keenan Allen?
No, I'm not. Keenan Allen's really good, but no.
It's crazy.
I'm putting Keenan Allen above him.
You put him over him? Okay, so he's 12.
Down year makes you just fall so bad.
It's not. I mean, I don't think it's so much about being a down year.
I think so. I mean, if you look at the numbers before that, you like really dropping him on this list. I mean,
so you think it's recency bias because
he doesn't.
Some of the players name like Amon-Ra St. Brown they just shine week after week, right? How do you not put them in the top 10? Like players like Amon-Ra St. Brown, man, he's special. You got Jared Goff throwing at him, and he's doing his damn thing. And Jared Goff, that's not a shot at Jared Goff. I'm just saying it's not a Josh Allen.
Who is better? Who is Stefon Diggs better than on that list that we just named? Who are we overrating? Devontae Smith? Who? AJ Brown?
Yeah, you're overrating Devontae Smith a little bit.
Yeah, I thought that was a little crazy, bro.
Yeah.
He's nice.
No, he's nice.
He's
nice.
really good.
But I'm still taking Diggs. I'm still taking Diggs.
But
he's really good, yo.
But still, that Diggs is at 11 then?
Yeah, he'd still be on the outside of the top 10, right? I mean, we named 11 guys. He's either way.
He would be at 10.
Either way, Miles had him
Best
at the
case
bottom
scenario.
of the top 10. Miles has him bottom top 10 then, if we're being honest.
I mean, he's a top 10 receiver. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, I mean, yeah, coming off a bad year, it's easy for you to slide him down to the top 15.
I think majority would agree with you.
That's what we do, though. It's not how it works. It seems to be the way it works in sports, I guess, right?
Hey, so,
I mean, we were just talking about how cows. What have you done for me lately? Okay, Stefon, what have you done for me lately? Since you want to be that, we can do that then. Let's play that game. I'm here to play it then. Let's not play it sometimes and not play it all the time. Let's play it all the time.
No,
That's all I'm saying. All right, then he's not top 10. That's all I'm saying.
You're right.
Hey, AFC East, man. Now, so some moves that's happened in the AFC East. We didn't get to talk about this. Eagles traded Hassan Reddick to the Jets for a conditional 2026 third-round pick that improves to a 2026 second-rounder if Reddick reaches 67.5% percentage on playtime and 10 sacks. They did lose Bryce Huff to the Eagles on a 3-year, $51 million contract, but they have added Tyron Smith and Mike Williams this offseason. The Bills, as we mentioned in the wide receiver room, they have also lost Jordan Poyer, Mitch Morse, Trey Devers, White, and they lost Leonard Ford. The Dolphins have lost Christian Wilkins, Xavier Howard. They added Jordan Poyer, Jonnu Smith, and Kendall Fuller. AFC East. Who wins the division this year?
Where did you say Jordan Poyer went?
To the Dolphins.
Went to the Dolphins.
Yeah, bro. I think it's the Dolphins. I don't think the Bills have a chance this year. If we're truly saying they're in rebuild mode, the Jets, depending on what Aaron Rodgers looks like and how he comes back and plays, and Miles can speak on this better than I can in terms of what he's hearing about Aaron Rodgers' health and what he's projected to play like. I'm going with what I know. I'm going with who has been consistent over the past few years, and that's been the Dolphins. And I think it's as simple as that. But the Jets defense is scary, and we'll talk about Hassan Reddick in a little bit. But that's a hard defense to go through. But I don't think the Patriots are there yet. They don't even know who their long-term quarterback is going to be. They got Jacoby Brissett starting this year, so I think it's an easy choice to say the Dolphins. I feel like most people would say the Dolphins if we're talking about recency bias and what they've been able to do and put together over the course of the past few years, and just their offense in terms of Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, everything that coached by Mike McDaniel, creative play caller. It's easy to pick them. The Jets were a disaster last year, and just because you hope with everything that they're potentially supposed to be doing this year, you can't confidently say they're going to win the division without having seen that product yet. We saw 4 plays of it.
Hey, Miles, before you go, Greg, before you go, Chris, before you continue. In this division, right, who has the best quarterback? Is it Josh Allen or is it?
It's Josh Allen.
Okay. I just want to make sure we still was on the same page with that. Josh Allen. Okay, cool. Y'all can go.
I mean, he's an idiot. He's an idiot sometimes, but yeah, he's still the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I mean, yeah, it's Josh Allen for sure.
I'll speak on the Jets though, in terms of because that's the only team that you can throw out there aside from the Dolphins that has a true shot at winning this division as rosters are constructed right now.
Yeah, because the Bills did take a step back. They let go of a lot of key pieces on that defense and, I mean, offense too. So, I mean, I can't sleep on Josh Allen though. So I'd still kind of put them up there as far as the division goes. And like you said, like Aaron Rodgers coming off the injury. Although, I mean, he's pretty much going to be 100% healthy by minicamp. So I just think like this team is built off of the defense. Like that was always the talk the last couple of years. Like as long as we have competent QB play, they can win games and make a run at it with this defense. Because I mean, this is probably a top 3 defense in the league, and we added one of the best pass rushers in the game to this defense. So yeah, I know we haven't won the division in a while. No, 2002 is a long time, but
Boy said a while.
Wow, yeah, wow, it's crazy.
It's been 22 years, my guy.
Right, it's almost your whole life.
no.
22 is crazy, bro.
So
yeah,
we got,
but like it's a little different now because I think Rodgers is motivated. I think you can knock him and say like he was on a downslide that last year in Green Bay. I think he was motivated last year, and it was just bad luck. But this year is going to be a little different. I think they're going to add pieces in the draft. I know that people are in between taking a tackle or a playmaker at 10. I mean, these guys, their jobs are on the line. Joe Douglas, Salah. So I think we're leaning towards a playmaker at that spot to add weapons for Rodgers to make plays. I still think that, I mean, if you give him time, he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. I mean, that raw talent, even if he has 1.5 Achilles, he's still one of the better quarterbacks in this league. So, I mean, he's a quirky guy, but when it comes to football, I mean, you probably can't name 5 better quarterbacks that have ever played this game than Aaron Rodgers. So
if the goal is to give Aaron Rodgers time, why not go tackle? And I'm getting off topic, but that's a real question. If we're talking about like, you want to protect Aaron Rodgers.
Well, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but like we already have 2 tackles, so they're gonna try to bet on those guys. Because like if you take a tackle at 10, you're basically saying like, okay, we're hoping this guy doesn't play this year. We're hoping that our number 10 pick doesn't help us this year. Because I mean, you're sure injuries happen, but if you're really betting on the Jets to be at their ceiling, Tyron Smith needs to play all 17 games. Morgan Moses, same thing. So that's kind of where we're at.
Fair.
You don't invest in tackle in free agency like that to go draft at the same position. It seems pretty stupid and counterproductive and bad for team building, in my opinion. I mean, we have other needs. I mean, Alan Lazard playing last year, and he was ass. He wasn't good. He wasn't good. So they need to draft a wide receiver. I think it's really simple. I don't think it's that complicated. I think you're overcomplicating it if you want to look at any other position for the Jets. They need to add a weapon for Aaron Rodgers to the ball to. So if you're going to run that offense from 1960, you need to get guys who can win off the line of scrimmage. It just makes sense. So you need guys, Brock Bowers or the best receiver available at that point. You go take them. That's what you do if you're the Jets in that situation. I think it's very straightforward. I don't think it's a very difficult thing. As far as who wins the division this year, I'm put my stock in the best quarterback because the quarterbacks win this league. It's a quarterback-driven league. I think the Bills are going to restock. I'll take the Bills. And look, this is the Jets' best chance to win the division. If they won it this year, it'd make a lot of sense. It's about damn time, as you would imagine, since it's been 2002. It's about damn time. But I'm gonna play the odds here. I'm gonna, it's been since 2002. 2002, how old was I? I was 7. Since I was 7 years old, they have not won a division. So it's not that that's the argument in and of itself. I'm just going to go with the best quarterback in the division. And again, the Jets should win the division because they have a great defense, but I just cannot trust that things will go according to plan with that franchise until I see it with my own eyes. That's it. It doesn't mean that I'm wishing that it doesn't go well. I'm not wishing harm on anybody. I hope that they have a healthy season. Everyone plays well. I do. I really do. I really do. But if you want to ask me to pick, would you put money on the Jets? You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're dumber than Jonte Porter. So you go and you do what the best thing with your money is possible. You take the sure thing. The sure thing is Josh Allen at the division right now. For now. I think they're going to reload. So yeah, I'll go Josh Allen and the Bills or the Miami Dolphins are probably my second pick. I think they're I mean, they're a well-oiled machine. McDaniel's a great coach. They do their thing over there. So I'd go with either one of them. But I think the Jets are certainly a dark horse, if you want to call them that. Yeah, I think health. Yeah, health is big for Miami for sure.
So we got Miles is the only one saying Jets. Chris with Miami. Greg is going with Buffalo to win it again for next season. We already mentioned NBA playoffs is right around the corner. The season is done in what? 2 more games? 3 more games? We are going to pick our NBA award selections, starting off with Executive of the Year. Miles started off. Who's your Executive of the Year?
I'm gonna go Leon Rose. I mean, if we're really being serious, I mean, he brought in Josh Hart last year. That was a huge move for this team. Not to be funny, but I mean, he brings a lot of heart to this team. So that's something we added. Who else? Dante DiVincenzo. Some people scoffed at the 4 years, 50 mil for a guy who, some might say should come off the bench before this year. And now he's proven that he can be a starting caliber 2 guard in this league. So that's one guy. The OG trade, everybody was kind of down on it at first just because we're getting rid of Quickly and RJ, and you're not sure about OG, but like the defensive impact and the all-around impact on this team from OG's perspective has been bar none. Like we're one of the better teams when he's on the court. Like I don't think he's had a negative plus minus since he's been on the Knicks. So yeah, I'm going Leon Rose.
Greg, who you got?
I mean, yeah, I think Leon Rose is actually a pretty good pick, honestly. But I think that's a really strong argument for him. Had a lot of success. But if I were I mean, I think there's a lot of names you can throw out there. I think the Sam Presti with the Thunder is a good name. I actually think the Timberwolves have a little sneaky case. My man with the Timberwolves, who came from the Nuggets, his name is escaping me right now. But he came from the Timberwolves. His name, by the way, when you come from the Timberwolves, a lot of people are going to forget your name. So I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about forgetting his name. But he has done an amazing job with Minnesota and the construction of that roster and re-signing Naz Reid, and they kept their homegrown talent there, and they've built it up over the years. And we laughed at the Gobert trade, but they're one of the best defenses in the NBA. So I'd probably go with him over in Minnesota, and then also I think Brad Stevens probably deserves a little bit of love. The Porzingis trade worked. They won a bunch of regular season games. The goals win the championship for them. We know that, but I think this is a regular season award. So if it is, he probably deserves some love because they're a 1 seed and they're clearly a better team. It's just, will they win a championship? No, because Jason Tatum's a jackass, but that's a whole different conversation.
I'm going with Brad Stevens for my Executive of the Year. Coach of the Year. Miles, you started off. Who's your Coach of the Year?
Coach of the Year. I'm gonna have to go. I can't say his name, the OKC coach, but I think the way he's turned things around over there, they've drafted really well. I think everything started with that Shea trade years back, but being able to find somebody like Jalen Williams, you got Chet, and being able to piece that whole thing together, I think OKC has a solid chance at being a powerhouse in the West for years to come. I thought about saying the guy from Minnesota, but I'm gonna go with the young guys.
Greg, who you got?
I like that pick too. If I had to throw other names out there that deserve some credit, I think Mike Malone's done a great job with that team in Denver. They don't have the championship fatigue, and for them to go out there and play as well as they have all year, I think he deserves a little bit of love and credit for keeping that team together, keeping them hungry all throughout the year. And I mean, I'm not sure. I think they're in first place. Like right now, they're locked. They're not locked, but they're in first place. Or maybe at this point it is locked. But I would give him the coach of the year. I can tell you who isn't the coach of the year for sure. Darvin Ham. Tell you he's not. He's the worst coach of the year. This is an award by far. So, but I'll go with Mike Malone. Give him credit there. I know it's a boring pick, but I think he just does a phenomenal job. They play great defensively. There's not a whole lot of weaknesses to that basketball team, and it's because of a lot of it's because of coaching. I do believe that, and also Jokic.
I completely agree. Birmingham better not receive one vote, but we're going to say that for next week's episode talking about the Lakers. My coach of the year actually, again, this is not what we predict and what we think is going to happen. This is our own personal picks. My personal pick, I'm going with Jamal Mosley over in Orlando. Last year, they won 34 games. This year, they are at 46 wins with still a couple games left. That big of a jump. You're in the playoffs. It's crazy how deep the playoffs is this year, though, because how well they've been playing, they can literally end up being a playing team. But they have been consistent literally all year with their play. Hasn't been really many times, oh, they on a 4-game losing streak, nothing like that. So shout out to Jamal Mosley. Clutch player of the year. I'm starting off my pick. It has to be DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan has been, even though the Bulls don't have the best record, but he's leading. He's top literally over the last 5 to 10 years. He's always top 3, top 5 in fourth quarter, clutch moments, clutch points. The games that they have won, DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White have been the most clutch players, I feel, in the league this season to get them to as many wins as they have. If it wasn't for DeMar and Kobe White in those fourth quarters, those overtimes, they might be in a conversation with the Pistons as trying to have the most losses. So that's my pick for clutch player of the year.
I forgot that was an award.
Yeah, they just added it.
I'm gonna agree with you though. I don't think that there's a debate to be had about other players for that award, but he's been that good, and they literally call him the king of the fourth. I mean, come on, we're gonna go with DeMar DeRozan. It makes the most sense for this award. I think it's a consensus, in my opinion. I don't know that there's someone else. I know Jalen Brunson's been great all year. I don't know that it's been like hitting big shots, but he has, but like as consistently as the Bulls have done it. I mean, the Bulls are playing close games every night because they suck. It's either close or it's a blowout. So, there's a lot of opportunity for you to be clutch when you're on a team that bad. And to his credit, he rises to the occasion. So
That's a
still a really
great
good
point.
his age. Yeah,
That's
they're
a
playing close games
great
every
point.
night. They suck. So there's plenty of opportunities for you to go out there and make a big shot. Lord knows they need it. They need every shot you can make. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm gonna go DeMar. I'm gonna go DeMar with this one. I don't think there's a debate.
Miles, who you got?
I'd say the same thing. I mean, I'm going off of what you guys are saying on this one, honestly. But yeah, DeMar's always been sort of that way since he's come to Chicago. I mean, even in Toronto. But this year he's kind of helped, bridge that gap with, you don't have Levine, you don't have Lonzo, so you've had to rely a lot more on him in the clutch. And I think, yeah, he's like you said, the numbers don't lie. They're going to make the play-in with a chance to make the playoffs. So I think without him, they're a lottery team.
Facts. And just some other names that I'm seeing about it, and Vegas putting out there also. Steph Curry's on that list, Damian Lillard, Nikola Jokic, and Kobe White, as I mentioned, as some of the names for the most clutch players. MIP, most improved player.
I gotta stop. I gotta stop this.
Kobe White. It's gotta be.
Stop.
Yeah, I got Kobe
for
White.
1 second.
I know where he's about to go. I agree with you, Mom. Kobe for MP, but I know where he's about to go.
Because I keep hearing about Maxey. I keep hearing Maxey.
This has to stop for 1 second. I promise you, it's worth stopping for 1 second.
All right, go.
He's not talking about MIP.
The Kentucky Wildcats just hired Mark Pope from BYU to replace John Calipari. That's what the Kentucky Wildcats just did. Mark Pope from BYU, coach a bunch of Mormons, to not go into Kentucky to coach and fill in Coach Cal's big ass footsteps, shoes. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna hire him. I'm sorry. It just threw me off. I can't. That's ridiculous.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. You literally took your fifth option because no one else wanted the job. You try to get Baylor's coach. No. Dan Hurley said, hell no, I ain't leaving here. My wife's not gonna let me leave here, understandably. Like, you couldn't get anybody else. And you let that guy go without a surefire plan, without you didn't know you were going to bring in a great coach afterwards, and you brought in Mark Pope. It makes my head hurt. It makes my head, and I blame the AD and I blame the boosters at Kentucky. I really do blame them. I think it is their fault. You could have done this in a year. You could have done this in 2 years. You could have done this when you knew that there was a coach that you were targeting that was willing to, step in and that you could hire for the job. It is incredibly frustrating to see that's the hire. I hate it. I hate it. By the way, Kentucky fans are giving this all over the place. Are giving this hire an F on Twitter. Twitter's on fire.
I mean,
Twitter's
sure,
on fire.
sure. I mean, you can honestly say that, but I mean, this guy's built a solid program at BYU. They've made the tournament. I mean, sure, he's not going to be what Coach Cal was. You're not going to find those guys because they usually are at schools for 20 years. But like they had to make a change. And I mean, you're bringing in new blood. We're going to have some ups and downs at first, but it's still Kentucky. I still think we're going to get guys. I still think that they can be able to recruit. I mean, you got donors, you got backers for the head coach here. So, I mean, sure, I wasn't ready to talk about this just yet. Thanks for springing this on me now. I mean, I didn't get a chance to look at any of this, so I appreciate you for that. But I don't know. I've seen BYU over the past few years, and since he's been there, they've had a winning culture, winning program. I mean, he turned Utah Valley into a winner. I'm just looking through some of his resume. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, you're not going to be able to get, unless those guys really want to step up to the challenge. I know I heard Bruce Pearl was an option, but he's not going to leave Auburn because they're a solidified top 20 program in the country right now. Same with Scott Drew. Why leave that program for an unknown with how things are run over here? So, with that being said, you got to go for a younger guy who could be hungry and needs an opportunity. I mean, who's to say that they can't be successful with this guy? Same with the Alabama coach that they brought in football. Who's to say that they can't be successful moving on from Saban in a new era? So, I mean, sure. Looking at it on the surface right now, and you lose Coach Cal and everything that he represented as far as bringing in revenue, bringing in NBA players to help you with your recruiting process and all that. I mean, his big thing was he was tired of going on the road and recruiting, and he wanted the NIL money to be backed for him to be able to give it to guys. But, like, something had to give. I know that's what we're going to go with at some point. I mean, you look like you're ready to talk, or you got a cramp. I don't know.
No, this is the dumbest shit. I'm sorry. Hold on. They wanted to get rid of Calipari because he didn't win enough championships in Kentucky. It did not translate to enough championships. That was a standard. Am I right? I think I'm right about that. That was about the standard. That's what you told me. And then they went and hired some guy who has not done anything. Relatively compared, he can't even compare his resume to Calipari, and you went and hired him instead. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
So how are we going to bring in a championship coach? How are we going to? So you're expecting us to go from Calipari to Roy Williams?
You already had a championship coach, so why fire the championship coach to bring in an unknown? Why would you do that? That is so stupid. And also, you're completely overrating the Kentucky brand. The Kentucky brand was Calipari. Calipari turned it into an NBA factory. That's what he did. That was his work. He built that brick by brick. He built the foundation that made that place an NBA factory where guys went from there. And it wasn't just sending guys to the NBA. It was sending guys to the NBA who were going to have immediate success. The All-Stars, Tyler Hero, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, who's hanging around the league getting second and third contracts. There's a Carl Anthony Towns, DeMarcus Cousins, who was an all-world player before he got hurt. I can go down the list forever. That's Coach John Wall. That's Coach Cal's legacy, is that he sent guys to the NBA, and he didn't just send them there. He went there. They went there, and they were prepared for NBA life, and they had success. Not just that, but he also won. Anthony Davis, they went down. They won. They won games. Devin Booker, they went down there and they won games. He won 810 games. I know over the course of his career. He's got about 400 of them with Kentucky, 400 wins. All they've done is win consistently and been at the least, they're a threat. At the least, they're a threat. Now, how you feel going from that to knowing now you're irrelevant? You are irrelevant because the guys. Let me tell you something. You mentioned backing, NIL backing. Every team in college basketball has NIL backing now. Everyone has money. Everyone has money. It is literally open game. Anyone can go get paid. Every school has rich donors. I'm sorry. At a Power 5 school, they have rich donors that can donate. So they're gonna be throwing money at these kids everywhere anyway. So is Kentucky like gonna get preferential treatment? Not without Cal being there. Hey, you didn't think it mattered that Cal was friends with Drake? That he was cool with the kids? That he was cool in pop culture? That Drake mentioned Kentucky in a rap song? That didn't matter to Robert Dillingham when he went over there? You don't think it mattered? It did. You're gonna find out though. You F around and find out. You're gonna find out firing that guy to bring in Mark Pope is the most idiotic thing I've ever seen. It is stupid as it is dumb as hell. It is dumb as hell. And look, he didn't get fired technically. Okay, we would be Captain Literal Man. He got pushed out. We know that's what happened. Cal did not want to leave Kentucky to go to Arkansas. Be for real. Like all my black sisters say, be for real. Like they say. Like, come on. That's what they said. Like, for real. Like, it's crazy. Mark Pope? That's who you hired? Irrelevant.
Are you done with your rant?
Irrelevant. But it's real. But you tell me if I'm wrong. Is there anything I'm saying that's wrong? Chris, am I wrong?
No,
am I wrong?
You're not wrong. Kentucky's behind the 8 ball when it comes to NIL. You have a point about them pushing him out, right? He took a pay cut to go to Arkansas. But best believe he's going to build a roster that is going to look pretty damn good because all those players that are at Kentucky, two players that from OTE actually were committed to go to Kentucky, Sompto and Carter Knox. They decommitted. People are going to leave to go play with Calipari, whether they go to Arkansas. The players that have decommitted, whether they go to Arkansas or not, but he's going to be able to build a roster. And I think
to go to the league, though. To go to the league. I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
No, he's gonna Miles, don't do that. Miles, don't make yourself feel better. He's gonna change his approach. He's gonna dig in.
You haven't won a chip in 12 years.
Yeah,
the NIL and transfer portal thing is the NIL thing and transfer portal thing is relatively new to college basketball. Let's come on. Let's be smart. He's going to change his approach. He would have changed if he was at Kentucky. He has to change his approach if he's going to survive in this landscape. It is not just about sending kids to the league anymore because you don't have them long enough. So you're not even get the 2-year guys. It's just impossible. And now it's when we're skewed to guys who have transfers having success because you'd rather recruit the transfer than recruit high school kids. I know the high school seniors are not getting recruited at the same clip because the transfer portal is busting right now. You can get a junior or a senior who's been through the college rigors, has been through college courses, who's been through college weight training and conditioning. You're going to get that kid first. They get preferential treatment. You don't think that Kyle sees that and Kyle's going to go, I'm Coach Kyle. I can probably get a transfer to come here from a really good school. Probably wouldn't have the same role he would have with me. I can sell him on a role here at Kentucky or Arkansas now. That's what's going to happen.
The transfer portal just happened this year. It's been going on for the last few years.
Exactly.
Few years.
Right. But what was his hold up?
We won one tournament game in the last 3 years.
It hasn't been that long. That's what I'm saying.
Other coaches have adjusted more quickly than Cal has.
Other coaches didn't have Cal's recruiting stuff and recruiting method. Recruiting ideology from the beginning. He's different in that sense that his plan was he started the one and done stuff, bro. Like it was him. He revolutionized college basketball. He was like, yo, you want to come? You want it? Here it is. I'm gonna sell you guys top recruits in the country. You're a 5-star, right? You want to play ball somewhere? I'm gonna get you to the league the fastest. That's what we're gonna do. That's my plan.
Selling you on winning a championship. He's selling you on getting to the league.
Yeah, he did. He did both. Yeah, we're competitive, multiple Elite Eights, a national championship, 810 wins. Don't do that. Like, don't do because like you don't want. It irritates me. It bothers me because people on the outside who talk about coaches do not know how hard it is to coach, especially in this generation of kids. It pisses me off, bro. It is hard, and these kids have never been weaker mentally. Kids are weak mentally. They quit. Kids play on 7 AAU teams because if they go to their first practice, they don't like the coach. The coach yells at them and they coach them too hard, they leave. And in this environment, And in this environment, you want someone to sustain success. It's possible because Dan Hurley's doing it, but it is not the norm. It is not the norm, and it takes time to adjust to these kids because these kids are different. They are not the same that they were even when Cal started there. It's different. They're not like you, Miles. They're like it. They're not like Tone. They're not like Chris. These kids are different. They are quitters, and the parenting has never been worse. The parenting has never been worse. The parents blame everybody but their kid. They blame everybody. It was everybody else's fault. John can't make it. John can make a three, or a shot, but it's everybody else's fault. But it's not John's fault though. Like that's the reality we're living in now. So I just feel like people need to be very careful about dropping the hammer on a guy like Cal. Be careful.
You can say it's not his fault, but you can also say he had a part in it because
he had a part in it. I'm not saying it's not all his. Yeah.
Because look, if you're looking at it like Jay Wright, he had the blueprint way back when. Those veterans at Villanova, a small school in Pennsylvania, winning 2 national championships in 4 years. Okay,
totally agree.
Kansas does the same thing with Bill Self, and then Scott Drew won at Baylor a few years ago with not freshmen, with upperclassmen. So it's like Cal has stuck to his guns with his one and done, and yeah, that worked with Anthony Davis because you got a generational talent. But how many times do you get a generational talent as a freshman that can lead your team to a national championship? He was National Player of the Year. He was Defensive Player of the Year. There was no way that they were going to lose that year. And it almost worked with Cat, almost worked with Devin Booker that year, but they lost to – I said it. It was a team that had veteran players of Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker on that team. So it's not like you can say that Cal, he's a winner. Sure, he's won plenty of games. One national championship to go for it with a generational talent in Anthony Davis. And
was that –
12 years ago?
What do you consider to be a success year to year? That's if the national championship is if you I know he was there for a long time and won one national championship, but an Elite Eight run, you get rings for that in college, bro. They give you rings when you get an Elite Eight run. When you get Sweet 16s, they give you a ring. Like they get rings, bro. Like I'm telling you, it's a successful season to get that far in the tournament, and he's done it multiple times.
Bro. At the end of the day,
yes, it does.
You're not selling the kids on making it to the Elite Eight when you recruit them.
The kids don't. Chris, those kids he recruits do not give a flying you-know-what about winning a national championship.
Not really. A bigger problem with college basketball then.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you. Bro, they're just trying to get to the fast money. A lot of them are. Cooper Flag isn't going to Duke to play to win a national championship. If he wins it, great. It's icing.
I agree with
you. He's getting to the bread, bro. He's getting to the bread. He's going to number 1 in the draft. That's what he's doing, bro. That's what he's doing. Like, Bronny didn't go to USC to win a national championship. He didn't prioritize that, did he? He just wanted to stay near the crib. Let me go here, fine tune my skills, go to the NBA. That's what it was. Bro, they're just trying to get to the fast money. I'm telling you, when you coach at Kentucky or you play for Cal, I should say, because the Kentucky brand was Cal. It's not the other way around. When you play for Cal, that's the expectation. I do think that changes now, though. I think it changes now because of the fact that with the transfer portal, the NIL money, it's just harder to sell people on that. And you're not going to win with a young team anymore because there aren't as many young teams to play against. All these teams are older and more mature. So you have to, be coached up, play the right way. You need kids that understand defensive schemes, terminologies. You need kids that are just more seasoned. So it's different now. And I understand the frustration of a Kentucky fan like Miles. I get that. I'm not saying that he had no merit in getting let go or that he should have stayed there forever. I'm not saying that. But if you're going to let him go, you're going to let Coach Calipari go, who is a basketball Hall of Famer, surefire, please replace him with someone who at least is comparable. You don't got to be a Hall of Famer. But what the hell? The coach from BYU, for real, not the San Diego State guy, who's been pumping out contenders every year. Now, mind you, here's this. You're going to have to pay me. You're going to have to pay me in gold to move from San Diego to Kentucky. Yeah, you want to pay me in gold. I want it up front. But at the end of the day, you got to go after those kind of guys. Take it longer with the search. So no one wanted the job. Why? Because they didn't want to deal with the boosters and these unrealistic expectations. That's why. How many can be? I don't get it. Like it's not the norm to be Jay Wright or to be Dan Hurley. It's not the norm. Coach K, it's not the norm. Please get that out of your head. It's not the norm, especially in this ecosystem with players, young guys, young people that we're dealing with now. It is not the norm. You're not going to see that sustained success. We're just not. Look at Villanova now. Look at them now. They're gonna get Neptune black ass up out of there as fast as possible. Come on, be for real. That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'd love to hear Tone's thoughts on this. Tone, have you been here the entire time?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts, though. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I was giving y'all the floor because I came back to my phone. Let me put my phone down for like 2 seconds. Went to go feed Omari. I came back and I said 63 messages. I said, oh, yeah, this wasn't on the docket, but it's going to be on the docket today.
Oh, people blowing your line about this, the hire.
Hey, how I feel about it, I think that's a terrible hire. But it's a tough situation. Same thing like with the Patriots. You following Bill Belichick, that's going to be hard. You following Coach Cal, that's hard. I don't see why they couldn't wait a little bit. People change their mind. Things happen late in the summer, and this happened. I think they should have waited to try to get a better prospect because I don't think with this hire, I think they'll probably be they win 18, 19 games next year. They'll make the 20, but it won't. That Kentucky allure that was there for the last 8, 9 years, however long Cal was there, is gone now.
Gone.
It is completely gone. It's out the door with Cal.
Yeah. All those championships are gone too now. Yeah, that we won over the last 8, 9 years. So
every team at the Yankees, Miles. Every team at the Yankees. Every team you root for ain't gonna be the Yankees. You root for the Jets. You root for the Jets too. Like it's hard to it's hard to win. You experienced that. Hey, come on. I'm just saying, bro. Like to win one national to see one national championship, to see one major championship in your team in your lifetime, you are a blessed man. Ask Chris. You root for the damn Bengals. How many have you seen? It is a blessing to see one. Be grateful. Hey, be grateful.
He really just caught a stray, but
yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point because in this regard, because you flip it, it's a lot of Lakers fans that's not happy
grateful
with LeBron's tenure of one ring, which to get one in this era of sports in general, some of the most gifted, athletically strong, talented individuals that have ever walked the face of the earth, to be able to get a ring, yeah, that's one of the most difficult things to do. And to think about repeating or back to back and all that stuff, that's rarefied air. So like even UConn repeating this year, shout out to UConn, shout out to Hurley. It's completely different, ideology and how he has everything running over in UConn than that Coach Cal was doing, which factored in him not getting the rings. But it's a layered conversation because reality, if they had this in football, it would be the same thing with the one and dones. Football players, they don't have the choice to do that. In the basketball space, it's about the bread. I want to get to the bread as soon as possible. And you're viewed as a failure if you got to come back a second season.
Facts.
That's literally how it operates. So
it's not an opinion. That's a fact. If they come back for year 3, and also think about it too the other way from the NBA's perspective, from scouts' perspective, if you see a third-year guy like CJ McCollum come out the draft, they're going late. They're not a lottery pick. How many third-year guys do they don't like that. They look at it as a knock on you, like why you're not here earlier or you're too old. We only have like by the end of your first contract, you're 27. If you came out at 24, you're already almost out of your athletic prime.
But not everybody's ready to go because not everybody's ready to leave. Like Bronny's not ready to leave.
But the caliber, this is not. Don't change it, though.
No, I'm not changing it. But you're the one who brought it up.
The caliber of player that John Calipari recruits, and he gets to go to Kentucky, is that of a guy who is looking to go after 1 year. That is just the way it's always been. So his conversation is framed for Kentucky, not for no one else, not for UNC, not for Duke, and even Duke has a lot of one and dones, but not for Duke either, because no one's been more successful at this than Calipari, and that has to matter. That has to matter.
Like sending guys to the NBA.
Hell yes, that matters. It matters. It matters as much as the winning does. It matters because those are wins, bro. Those are sending a kid to the NBA where he gets a second and third contract. I'm flexing that all day. That is
That's
incredible.
life
That's
changing.
incredible.
That's
That's
life
life-changing.
changing.
You're right.
In that regard, yeah. If I'm Cal, I'm promoting that too because it's like, yo, you come play
You
for
ever heard?
me. I have the formula. I'm going to make sure that you're not you, but generations after you are set. Come play for me.
Right.
That's the thing, though. Nobody's debating that. Greg's saying it like that's something that I'm like, no, I want these kids to stay here now. I don't want them to succeed. I want them to win in college. Like, I don't care
But
about.
you wanted him gone.
Huh?
But you wanted him gone, though.
I mean, I didn't want him gone. I wanted him to change his philosophies, though, and he wasn't going.
You weren't
to.
mad he was gone, though. You weren't mad he dipped.
Bro, doing the same thing over and over again is insanity. And losing, like we've been losing, is crazy. At Kentucky, it's crazy. If the Yankees were to, if the Yankees were to do the same thing, the manager would be fired. There's an expectation. There's always been an expectation at these places.
I understand that. How do you hold this past year against Cal? He recruits DJ Wagner. DJ Wagner is, got the pedigree and all. Son of Dewan Wagner, and then Milt Wagner and all this stuff. He goes to Kentucky. He plays like dog. You know what? Does not play well. We're in a weird era now. We're like we don't hold players accountable anymore. I know he's a kid. We don't hold players accountable anymore. We're holding the coach accountable. Is it possible that these top flight recruits aren't living up to their billing because it's too much pressure? It's also that part too. It doesn't change the Coach Calipari's culpability and everything and the environment he created and why they haven't won multiple championships. I get that, but I'm saying it's a rarity to do so anyways. If you're firing someone because they haven't won multiple championships in 17 years, but they've been to like 6 Elite Eights or whatever the hell, and a Final Four appearance, multiple Final Four appearances, what are we really doing? Like, that's not good enough anymore for people? Damn. That's a tough one.
Arkansas about to be jumping. I know that. Arkansas about to be jumping, and I look forward to seeing on Hip Hop DX or Shade Room or somewhere where Drake drops a bar with Arkansas in it. Somebody about to drop a bar with Arkansas in their song. Yeah, the fact that
bro, the Colorado,
we're gonna transition. It's wild. It's wild. This year, I remember the last 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mal. Right, the last 2 or 3 years, Coach Cal has had practice at Drake's house.
Come on.
Like that's wild different. He has had practice at Drake's house, which in this era, one of the most popular rappers right now, artists is Aubrey Drake Graham. That's
all those practices got us, a lot.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Miles acting like that. I don't know why you acting like that, Miles. I'm gonna keep it a stack.
Acting like what though? Like
how many chips have you seen in your life?
I hear your argument about what Cal has brought to Kentucky. I'm not
just that though. The rarity of a national championship. How rare is it? It's rare to win a major championship in sports at a high level. It's rare. Yo, it's hard to go win an AAU tournament, bro. It ain't easy. If I had that mentality, I would be asked out. I'll tell you that right now.
But isn't winning what separates the good from the great at the end of the day?
Yeah, it's relative, but yes, it's relative though. It's not always that black and white. Life ain't black and white. I tell people this all the time. Life is not black and white. If it was black and white, it'd be a rough existence for a lot of us guys. I'll tell you that right now. It's not that. It's not. He is a Hall of Fame coach. You just don't follow him up with some guy like named Mark Pope who's coaching Mormons and all this shit. Like, what are we talking? I'm sorry. I'm just irritated. Like, yo, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Hey, being that took over the conversation, and we know y'all not trying to be here for 2 hours, so we are going to do 2 more awards, and the rest, you good. The rest will y'all send it in to me, and I'll just create it from that point. The last 2 awards, which I think they're the most important awards, which I was saving for the last. DPOY. I got AD.
That's good. I'm gonna go hot take. I'm gonna go Wemby.
Yeah, I was gonna.
They haven't won. When you see a 3-on-1 transition and fast break stop, because Wemby's standing there with his arms covering from one sideline to the other,
Players don't know what to
I'm
do.
over Wemby. They don't know what to do. They don't know
Players
what to
do
do with him,
not
bro.
know what to do. Jokers will dribble around literally the whole court to get away from him. So I'm not arguing with that at all. I'm going AD because you've seen the
He's
Lakers.
amazing.
There's been a lot of games that he's actually won for them this year just on the defensive end. Like he hasn't
Yes.
It hasn't been no crazy offensive years from him of 28 and 30. No, but on the defensive side,
Absolutely.
especially what comes to mind is like that Bucks game, blocking Damian Lillard multiple times. Yeah, I'm gonna go with AD. Can't argue with Wemby though. MVP.
Joker. I don't have fatigue. He can get it again. I mean, guys averaging 26, 12, and 9 again, and the team's number 1 in the West. I mean, if you're winning, that's how it should be. I mean, what are we doing?
I'm not going to be a hypocrite. I'm taking Jalen Brunson for MVP. I think that he's the little definition of what MVP means, in my opinion. And this is the frustration I've had with the LeBron James situation, because I felt like LeBron in his prime, this is the argument he had every year, was like, oh, well, Kevin Love goes down, or well, Kyrie's out for an extended period of time. Oh, we're still the 4th seed. We're still the 3rd seed. We're still this. We're still in the playoffs. We're still making a run. I know it's not a playoff award, but to have sustained success in the regular season when Julius Randle goes down, when Mitchell Robinson goes down for a long time, and for him to play the level he's played at 6 feet tall, and just be killing dudes' footwork, and he's the go-to guy every game, night in, night out. He's barely missed any games. He's been available. He's been available and durable at that size every night. There are so many things that go into being an MVP, and durability, and the production is 2 big things, but then also the leadership too. Like, the team didn't crumble when guys got hurt. The team didn't crumble. The team didn't crumble. They stayed together. They played well all year. They've been fun to watch, and it's because of him. It's because of him. He's their best player by a mile, and it also diminishes, in my opinion, the importance of Julius Randle. This is a whole different discussion. We can go there another day, because I know it's going to whatever. If there's Julius Randle truthers out there, you question what's wrong with your life. But it diminishes the importance of that guy, and that's what MVPs do though. Like, everyone else shrinks in their presence, and the guys who were good basketball players just really improve and get better. I mean, I don't think DiVincenzo's ascension is a coincidence playing with Jalen Brunson. I just don't think that's the case. DiVincenzo's suddenly one of the top flight role players in the league, playing with this guy. That's not a coincidence, in my opinion. So I just feel like when you take all those things into consideration, into account, that's the MVP of the league. That is, because that's what it's about, rallying a team in adverse situations. You could easily give it to Shea if you wanted to. Shea's probably been the best player in the league all year. But I'm gonna give it to Jalen, because Jalen has rallied that team in New York City, which is wild. And it's got to be worth something. He's the MVP in my opinion. I would put in the vote without a question.
I mean, yeah, I would love to do that, but I'm like realistic. Like, I know they're not gonna give it to Jalen, but he's been at the level.
We're not choosing who we think going well. We choosing who
we would pick. Yeah.
No, yeah. If I had to pick, I would take Jalen Brunson. I mean, like everything Greg said, like, you can't debate that he's carried this team, and realistically, we have a shot at getting a 2 seed in the East if things bounce the right way these next couple games. But I mean, I know he's not going to get it. I'm not even going to get my hopes up. I'm just hoping that he gets first team All NBA. Like, I mean, he should. I mean, because you can argue that he's the best point guard in the league right now.
I would say yes, he is.
Hey, you teasing for next week's episode when we want to do the All NBA teams. You teasing for that. Me personally, I love the Jalen Brunson pick. Nikola, I think, is going to win it. I'm going with Luka this year. How Luka, 50 wins this year. How they've been playing since All-Star break. He's playing actually, like, I'm not saying he's an all-defensive player, but he's actually playing better defense. He's putting more work in there. He's still crying a little bit too much, but that combo of Luka and Kyrie, we're going to talk about playoffs next week, but that combo right there, if you have, and you look, go look at the history of the NBA. If you have great guard play, that takes you a long way sometimes in the playoffs. And those two, I posted it today. People don't read, people don't understand English. They are the most skilled backcourt, the most skilled backcourt ever in NBA history. And Kyrie is on this year, like on all aspects. He is actually on. No problems, no nothing off the court. He had a great Ramadan, all that. Yo. And we've seen when Kyrie is locked in, that's a scary mofo to deal with, bro.
It is.
He gave y'all savior Steph. I love Steph, but kill Steph. Kill Steph.
He's more skilled than Steph Curry. I mean, we've always had this discussion. Kyrie is more skilled than Steph Curry. If you post this clip, you're going to piss some people off. So I'll say it again. Kyrie is more skilled than Stephen Curry. I don't even think it's a debate. If we're being honest, let's be for real for a second. It's not. His shooting ability is incredible. He's the best shooter of all time. Kyrie's the best ball handler of all time and one of the best finishers of all time. He has two skills that he has at his disposal at an all-time level. Steph Curry has one. Now you can argue that Steph Curry's all-time level skill is more important. It's the most important skill you can have in basketball. So you want to rate it higher, fine. But when Kyrie has more ways to kill you offensively than just shooting the ball, and he is, by the way, he is a phenomenal shooter. Also, so when you combine all those things together, the all-time great finishing, the all-time great ball handling, and the elite shooting off the dribble, standstill, he is the most complete offensive player I've ever seen in my life. The most complete offensive player I've ever seen in my life, which makes him more skilled than Stephen Curry. Yes, it does. It's not a debate. Stop being idiots.
Hey, and in the clutch, I'm scared way more of Kyrie Irving than Stephen Curry. We've seen it too many times. Teams been able to double, get the ball out of Steph's hands, face guard. Steph don't even get the ball, and you got Draymond shooting in the game. We've seen it too many times. Kyrie's gonna get the ball, and you're praying to whoever you believe in that he misses or that you get help that could stop him. That game winner that he hit this year,
ridiculous.
A left-handed, basically, you don't even know what to call it. Was it a hook? Was it a runner? Was it a floater? Over Nikola? Come on, bruh. That gotta make you dookie in your pants when you on an island with Kyrie. It's scary work. We're gonna end off the show. Rank these albums, and then y'all could tell me what y'all felt about J. Cole apologizing, and we'll close the show. Rank these albums. Forest Hills Drives, Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, Born Sinner.
I think the J. Cole albums would be 3 and 4 on that list, honestly. If we're being frank.
Hold on. Good Kid, Mad City is number 1.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Good Kid, Mad City.
I know what you're going to do. You're going to put Forest Hills Drive number 2. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it.
I love Born Sinner. I love Born Sinner.
I like it too. I'm not saying there's no knock on the albums, but it's the 4 we were given. So I mean,
me personally, I'm going Born Sinner over To Pimp a Butterfly. That's what I'm doing. Me personally, it's just me.
Okay. I'm not gonna say
that. It's just what sounds good to me, Miles. It's not an agenda. I'm not a politician, nigga. I'm just being real.
No, I know. You're gonna push your agenda in the next, part of this convo.
No.
So you said they're 3 and 4, right? How would you rank them though? Is you got Born Sinner at 3, or you got Forest Hills Drives at 3?
I got Forest Hills Drive. I just think that album, J. Cole made it from that was the one that means the most to him, honestly. And you can tell lyrically, the way he chose the sequence of the songs. That's when he put it out. I was like, this is his best album by far. I mean, that's his classic album right there. But that might be the only one that's a classic. Like Born Sinner is a really good album. That's a good album, but I wouldn't say it's a classic. But Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly, those are classic albums. Just
Were there only 2 Kendrick albums you named?
Yeah,
Or was it
it was 2 versus 2.
those 2 versus 2? Okay, so I'm gonna go Good Kid, Mad City, Forest Hills Drive, Born Sinner, then to Pimp a Butterfly. I'll go like that. That's what I'll do. This is
Okay.
my opinion.
No,
This is
I'm
my
not,
opinion.
I'm not knocking you. Everybody has their opinion.
Good Kid, Mad City is an amazing album. It's one of the greatest rap albums I've ever heard in my life. So that'll be where it is. It's got just a phenomenal, just from top to bottom. The highs are incredible, so I'll go with that. But yeah, I mean, like I told y'all, J. Cole just sounds better than me sonically. So I resonate more with his music, more his sound than Kendrick's. So sometimes when Kendrick gets like experimental and all that, it can get a little crazy for me. That's all I'm saying. But you know,
Hey. So for those, if you were under a rock somewhere by any chance, maybe you was in a coma, maybe you was on vacation and you didn't have service. J. Cole came out, apologized for his diss track to K. Dot, said he was going to take it down from all streaming platforms. Before you guys go, I'll just share my 2 cents on it. Listening to the explanation of why he did it, I don't got a problem with it. I understand where he's coming from in regards of, hey, this is not really me. This is not who I am. This is not my brand. This is not what I'm into. And with that part, I stand with J. Cole 1,000%. Be who you are supposed to be. Do not let people pressure you. If that's not who you are, don't do it. As a fan, of course, I wanted to see this go back and forth. I wanted this to go back and forth because these are two of the most lyrically top artists right now. The discussion of all time, we can have that another day. But right now, in our era, everybody that's on this screen, they're top. They're in that conversation, the top 2, top 3 for what, last decade? I would have loved to hear that, just to hear that, because they would have came with, it would have been art, just absolute art. But on the human side, Cole, I got no problem with you. Dreamville,
I feel the same way. I feel the same way, honestly. I just didn't like the misstep. In my opinion, just I don't. If I were him, I'm not dissing him in the first place. Is what I'm saying. I'm not going after Kendrick in the first place. Just don't do it. Don't move out of your body. Don't do stuff that you're not about. That's all I'm saying. And to hype everybody up for possibly one of the greatest rap beats of all time. That's what we're gonna get right there. Now we still gonna get a heavyweight bout. We're still getting a heavyweight. I'm okay. I'm gonna get my fix one way or the other because Drake's about to come back at him apparently tonight, or at least in the next couple hours. We're gonna hear Drake this. So I'm excited about that and to see those two guys go because they're still 2 heavyweights and that'll be fun to watch. But I didn't like the misstep. You started out. I liked 7 Minute Drill. I thought it was cool. I thought it was melodic. I liked the hook. I liked the things he said. I thought it was really just like everyone says, a warning shot. I thought we had potential here. That we are going to go somewhere. And I like J. Cole talking his, I liked it. I loved it. I wish he would have continued, but the
he
misstep,
got popcorn.
the misstep, the misstep to me is just, I don't like it. I wish, don't pump fake like that on everybody. It's like when Carmelo caught the ball at the Garden and pump fake, and everybody thought he was going to shoot it. It's literally that what J. Cole did. But at the end of the day, I respect him as a human being, and he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I'll give him that. But unfortunately, the internet does not care about good guys. In fact, they don't like good guys. So you're gonna get a lot of trash, and people will view this as a stain on his legacy. I don't view it as such. I don't. I thought My Leader was an amazing project. I loved it. But no one cares about that. They'll talk about what moves the needle. That's fine.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but like at the same time, this all stems from the Kendrick verse on Like That. And I mean, I've listened to it plenty of times because it does slap.
It's good. Yeah,
it's good. It's good, but I don't even think most of that verse where he was dissing was about J. Cole. So I think it was more pressure on J. Cole from the outside noise to respond and be like, "Oh, he's challenging you guys, like, because the big three, you said it." but it wasn't really about him. He's more so coming at Drake on that, and yeah, that's why Drake's gonna probably respond somewhere soon. Um, but then once you put your hat in the ring, you can't just like do this. Like I'm all for your mental health and like you being who you are. I mean, like, throughout his whole career, he's never presented himself to be this combative rapper who's ready to do this. But at the same time, for years, he's always said how he's the top dog, he's the best lyricist, he's, the best rapper out right now. And I mean, it was a nice little jab that he sent out with 7 minute drill, but then for you to go to your festival a couple days, not even like 2 months or something, like 2 days after you put the song out, and you're recanting and basically, I don't want to say begging for forgiveness, but you basically said, I'll put my chin out. You can take your best shot. Like, I've never seen that in my life.
That is so crazy.
Where I was like, sure. I was having this talk in my other chat about, does this knock him down a notch as far as like one of the greatest rappers? Like, I don't think so. I think he's still one of the greatest rappers, but respect level, I think it knocks him down a level as far as, rap is a sport. I mean, everybody's gone through it. Jay-Z, Nas, they've sparred. Drake has sparred plenty of times over the years. So it's like you take your wins, you take your losses like a man. I mean, Drake lost to Pusha T. I mean, he put all his business out there. I mean, I'm sure Drake would have a different opinion on it, but there's
I
no
don't think he
denying.
does. I think Drake has publicly acknowledged that he lost that battle rap, and I think he doesn't care because who we talk about now, Pusha T or Drake? We don't talk about Pusha T. I don't talk about him. Talk about Drake. Drake's the biggest artist, one of the biggest artists in the world. Biggest Super Bowl. That's what he said, right?
I don't agree all the time with academics, but he said something that was true in that regard. He was like, that rap battle, that rap beef between those two did more for Pusha T than it did for Drake. Because if you're talking about the king, how they view him, the top of the game is acknowledging you. It does more for that. That's like LeBron talking about, yo, I saw Antonio playing over at JCC. That does more for me than it does for Bron. That was one. I don't always agree with Act, but that part I was like, yeah,
he was right. He's right about that, 100%.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's 100%. And I think Pusha T dropped an album like right around that time. He capitalized off of the moment. I think he did, or not too long after. Yeah, which again, I don't know how much people listen to the album because again, like I said, he tried to capitalize on the momentum of the moment, which is smart, good business decision. But I'll say this about I'll say this about J. Cole. J. Cole, it's like you're watching two wrestlers or whatever, and one dude just stops wrestling and says, "Hey, I'm taking a bet shot on the chin. I don't want to fight you no more. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover." In the middle of the ring, bruh. That's what you just did. That's what you just did. He got in the fetal position. No Diddy. That's what he did. That's what he did. So that's a tough one to come back from. And rap is a combat sport, like Miles is saying. So in a violent game like this, to do that, you're not gonna get a whole lot of respect out here. But that's okay. I think Cole is okay with being who he is, living his truth, and he's still one of the greatest rappers of all time. I'll still listen to his music. It doesn't change the way I feel about him, but I do not like the move. And I said this in the group chat. I do not like the move. I respect it, but I do not like it. Because I just would have, at that point you're in it, but
exactly. If it went to the point of what we saw with Tupac Biggie, all right, cool. I get it. Like, all right, because y'all doing too much because fans are maniacal and like, oh, I ride for J. Cole, I ride for K Dot, and it's a East Coast, West Coast type thing again. But it didn't go that far.
No.
I don't view K Dot having that type of energy where it's talking about I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna kill you, and I don't think that would have happened. Outside of that, I think it should have kept going. It would have been absolutely, as Greg said, that would have been the best ever in history rap beef ever.
Yeah.
And we probably would have got some of the best bars, but we still might get that with Drizzy and K-Dot, because like Miles said, Kendrick really wants Drake. That's the head he wants. This is
Because Drake's the
he's
head.
been
Because Drake's the head of the snake. He's the head.
he's been going at Drake. This is not the first time. He's been
Mhm.
throwing. He's been like in a prize fight. He's been throwing little jabs. First round jab. I'm seeing where you at with it. I'm seeing where you at with it. First round, second round, third round. So yeah, nah. I'm looking forward to that. In and off the show. You mentioned
Before
Nicola. Go ahead. Go ahead.
before you do that, I'm gonna just say this: Drake with Drake's diss in his return shot to Kendrick, he's gonna be addressing everybody who's unfollowing him. All these rappers, you gotta understand. See, Kendrick's not gonna win this battle. I'm telling everybody now, Kendrick won't win because it looks it's gonna come off like you guys had all team up together like on some Avengers type stuff to get rid of Thanos, bro. Because all you guys are unfollowing at the same time. Rick Ross is over here listening to the song. Rick Ross is listening to the like that in the car. You know, Nav is unfollowing him. They're all saying subliminals. I heard Travis got smoke with him, whatever. When you have a bunch of guys on your side teaming up with you and you trying to jump this guy, which is what it's like you trying to jump Drake in the parking lot or whatever. You know what I mean? Because he's just on top. You guys got tired of him being on top. It's hard to win that battle. It's going to be hard because we're always looking. That's going to be a chink in the armor. I promise you. Just save this as a receipt because when this is talked about after it's all said and done, when the dust settles, we're going to bring up the fact that Kendrick Lamar seems to have had an alliance formed to take down Drake, which says more about Drake's greatness than it does about Kendrick's greatness. And that's all I'm saying. Leave it there.
I mean, you're saying Kendrick has the alliance formed?
It seems like it. Everybody at the same.
I think
This is him,
I
and
think
then
he
all of a sudden
knew.
everybody.
I think they know that him and Drake don't get along. I know Metro and Drake don't get along, and something down the line, along these lines, Future and Drake fell out. So I'm sure they were like, "All right, do you want to spit something?" You know, because what's the name of the album? We don't like you, or
We don't trust you or whatever.
we don't trust you, and now we still don't trust you. So I feel like this is basically shots at Drake, and who better to throw more shots at Drake than someone who already doesn't really rock with Drake, like Kendrick Lamar. So I don't know. I think Kendrick saw an opportunity. He saw that this Metro album was coming out. They had been talking about it for a year or so, and I'm sure he hit up Metro or Future and was like, "Let me spit something. I got something." And it turned that song is holding strong and steady at number one. Still, 3 weeks later, even after Beyonce dropped an album, even after there's been a few other people who have dropped an album. So it's one of those where, yeah, Drake is seeing this and he's like, all right, I can't let this slide because these were a lot more. Because in the past, it's been like real subliminal with their disses. Like nobody said names. He still didn't say names, but this one, you already know who he's talking about. Like first person shooter, you're talking about dogs. Like you already know who you're talking about. These are all key words for Drake in the last year. I'm looking forward to what we get out of Drake, out of Kendrick. Because sure, he's gotten pushed by other artists in the past, Drake, but nobody on a level like his. Like you can say Drake is on another level. Kendrick's at the top of the game too. Got like almost 20 Grammys. He's got a couple classics. He's solidified in the game. He's solidified on that list of rappers of all time. So let's see what Drake can do with one of the greatest artists of our generation.
Hey, Glorilla wanna be shooting up them charts too.
Oh, that Glow song? With that Yeah Glow? With
Yeah.
that? That
Nah,
song
wanna
hard
be.
though.
It's something with Meg Thee Stallion.
Oh, I don't know what the hell that is. Okay.
I don't know what
Yeah
it
Glow
is
hard
either.
though.
I don't know what it is either, but when I was looking on Instagram, TikTok today as the number one trending song to use is "Wanna Be."
Whatever.
Wait,
Whatever.
Tom, real quick. That whole J. Cole thing, like he said on First Person Shooter, like how comparing himself to Ali. That's where I'm like, all this motion that he's been doing the last couple of weeks is crazy because you comparing yourself to Ali, and what's he saying? I'm the greatest. That's what you're trying to say, and you're ducking smoke. It's like imagine Ali getting in the ring with George Foreman, and after round one, he's like, you know what, George, I'm not really feeling it. I made a mistake. I'm gonna take the dive in round two. Like that would be some corny. corny stuff, and Ali would probably never be heard from again. But because J. Cole has his fans, he's solidified. Like if this was anybody else who ducked out, like we saw what happened with Drake and Meek Mill. Meek Mill's career hasn't been the same since that beef. And he could argue with that. He could argue with Wale. He could argue with Charlemagne about all this, but it's already solidified. Like your career took a dive when you stepped against Drake, and that's usually what happens. So,
Hey,
This I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say this because I'm in the business of clips and all that stuff. And I'll say this right now, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Kendrick Lamar as an artist is great. He does not compare to Drake.
I didn't say that though.
I'm not telling you did. I'm not saying you did. I'm just giving my opinion on the matter
Right.
because this is where this ultimately always goes. This is where the battle rap stuff goes. It's gonna go to who's better, who's this, who's that. Or they're gonna start comparing. They're gonna start comparing albums and discographies and all that stuff, 1-to-1. Drake is a better artist than Kendrick Lamar. There's a reason why Drake is more popular, just period, worldwide. There's a reason why more people listen to his music. There's a reason why he's more universally recognized as an artist than Kendrick Lamar. All right. There's a reason. You can argue, you can say, oh, well, Kendrick Lamar's music is more substantive and he talks about things that are more important and he acts like his age, kind of the age thing's been a thing brought up with Drake online, whatever, hanging out with the streamers or whatever. Drake is smart hanging out with the streamers, bro. That's genius. Because who buys concert tickets? The people that the kids that these streamers are talking to every night. It ain't to the 30-year-olds. It ain't to the 40-year-olds. It ain't to the adults. It's to the kids. The kids are the ones that move culture. Kids decide what's cool. So why would you not be in with Aiden Ross or Kai Cenat or whoever or academics, whoever it is that streams out here? It makes sense. It's where things have gone. Drake is just a smart businessman, and on top of that, he makes great music. Okay, telling you right now, Drake's a better artist. It's not a debate I'm willing to have with you. If this gets posted and it gets nasty in the comments, I will not respond. But I'm just telling you right now, Drake is a better artist. All right, the music just is there's some symphony level songs he's dropped that we don't talk about, and we can get into that conversation a different day. I can do it all day, but we don't got to go there. It's fine. I made my point.
hey, people like to say this, that Kendrick, he doesn't drop often, but when he drops, it's great quality. The thing that you get with Drake, he drops often and it's great quality. So you get both. Just think about that.
Right,
Just think about that, man. What would you
right.
rather have? Sports world. Would you rather have a receiver that get 100 yards a game? Would you rather have Mike Evans, consistency every single year, 1,000 yards, or you want somebody to show up every other year? But when they show up, they're there. Nah, you don't want that in any aspect in any walk of life. You always got to stay ready, so you got to get ready. We out. Peace.
Peace.